Over the past few years, I've been able to interview some of the politicians and developers, people running Central Florida and downtown Orlando. I've been able to hear their vision on where they want to take the area. And I haven't really had a chance to sit down with many business owners down there until this week. I interviewed Matty Bullitt. He owns multiple bars and restaurants throughout the downtown corridor, and he has for several years. He's seen it at its height and, unfortunately, its recent decline. We had a conversation around security and kind of the overall economy in the downtown area and where he hopes to take it in the future. I thought it was a fascinating conversation, and I hope you do as well. Stay tuned. So, dude, we've been talking for 4 or 5 months on Instagram, talking about sort of the state of downtown, all this other good stuff. Before we get into the good and the bad, talk to us a little bit about your empire down here. I feel like you are all over downtown.
Yeah. So we started with Bullitt Bar in 2008. We expanded up here to McQueens in 2019. And then across the street, we have Basement Attic and Papi Smash. We bought Basement Attic and the space that Papi Smash is in 22.
Yeah.
And then we, let me backtrack a little bit. We bought Crow, which is right next to the basement, in 2019, right after opening McQueens. It was kind of a chess play for us, right? It became available. We were building McQueens. And then in 24, we closed Crow down and we reopened as Sessions.
Dude, I freaking love this building. This
Thanks,
is so
man.
sick.
Yeah.
Who designed all this?
My business partner and I, Scott Catrova, we met him earlier, and Jay Bond. I'm sure you know Jay. He used to be a local. Yep, you have some of his art.
Yeah, I do.
He did these. We took about 2 years to build McQueens, just because, one, we own the building, so we didn't really have like a timeline on when we wanted to open. And this used to be old, like 80s style office space. So
no way.
Where you see these trusses, there was another floor, right? Okay. And this staircase actually was shifted this way. So when you walked, we built this wall here. There was no wall here, it was just open stairs. And when you walked up, you had this other set of stairs here. There was walls everywhere and you had a ceiling. So we cut out that whole third floor ceiling and exposed it to these huge 50-foot rafters. But this building was built in 1908, I want to say, somewhere around there, like between 1900 and 1910. So super old building, so really cool stuff. That door right there, that's that weight distributed door, used to be the door leading into our office, so we repurposed it up there. But the goal was also to expose like the romance and the just how beautiful old architecture was, right?
Sure.
With the
Which
brick.
you don't really have in Orlando, by the way.
Right.
I mean, downtown is old, but like
the
rest of
it's
Orlando is
historic.
new. Yeah.
So that was the other piece why it took us so long. This is an historic building.
Yeah.
So it took forever to get through historic preservation and build it to the level they wanted, right? Sure. You can only do so much. So exposing the brick, these cedar ceilings, the beautiful skylights, and just making something cool and unique for downtown, you know?
How many people fit in here on like a given night?
About 250 to 300.
Dang.
Yeah.
You still see that even after what's gone on over the past year?
No.
Yeah.
So, we do, it used to be you open the doors and some decent programming, decent DJ, good specials, good atmosphere. You're getting 2 to 250 in here, no problem. Now you have to have a dedicated promoter, a specific night that was promoted months ahead. And it's not that easy either, right? It's not like, oh, well, why don't you do that every night?
Sure.
You know? It's hard to find those guys now because a lot of those specific promoters have moved out of downtown because even for them it's hard, right? So where a promoter used to bring you 350 in terms of occupants, they're now maybe bringing you 100, 150, and they make money on that. So if they're not making money downtown, they're just going to take somewhere else wherever they can. Yeah. But there's also other fees associated with that, right? You got to pay out the promoters, security, all that. So it's not sustainable to do every night of the week either. Mm-hmm. So it's tough, man. It's tough. We're trying everything. We're trying everything, trying to pull every trick out of every hat.
Let's check out the OG Bullitt downstairs.
Yeah.
Dude, I love all this like brick inlay here and like everything coming through. It's so cool.
My sister's driftwood right there. It's pretty cool to incorporate her some of her work throughout the venues. And here's the OG.
So this was number one.
This was number one, yeah. We opened Bullitt in 2008.
Wow.
So, almost 2 decades here.
You ever think you'd own your own bar?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like I said, man, there's something special about passion and believing in yourself, and I've always kind of broken through any barrier that was put in front of me, and obviously I was very fortunate to be with the group that I'm with, and they've given me a lot of opportunity and a lot of growth. So I can't thank them enough. Obviously, they're amazing guys, man.
So good.
But yeah, I always understood the assignment, so to speak.
Yeah. You got Walters coming, Packing District.
Yep. So we're opening Walters.
Nice.
End of the month. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Just a couple more things to iron out from the legal standpoint, but we look like we're on track to open at the end of the month, October. The Packing District, amazing area.
Yeah.
That whole area is owned by Dr. Phillips, so we got to partner with them, and I mean, amazing organization. Obviously,
for sure.
It speaks for itself. So being able to partner with them, and they had a handful of operators that they were kind of vetting and going through for that space, and we got picked. My partner and I, Scott Katroba. So pretty special for us, as a group and as operators to be selected by an organization like Dr. Phillips.
Totally.
Pretty awesome.
It's cool to see that whole area. It was like industrial, and they're like repurposing with new intertwined adapt and reuse to me is like the greatest thing. Instead of let's stop spreading around Central Florida. Let's take care of what we already have. So it's really cool that you guys get to be a part of that.
And that space is great, right? You got the huge patio, the food hall. So Southern Box has the huge food hall, 9 restaurants.
Yep.
Attached is a event hall space. We're going to start doing a lot of concerts in there. And then the tavern is attached, which is Walter's Tavern. That'll be ours to that whole space. So all that outdoor patio for kids, and we're going to do a lot of cool stuff there.
So
we're very excited.
So why Orlando? Are you from here? Why? You're investing a ton into businesses and that kind of thing. It's very cool what you're doing.
Yeah. So no, I moved down here from Atlanta after graduating high school. I'm actually originally from Europe, born and raised in Italy. Yep.
Nice.
Moved to the States. Moved to Miami when I was 9, and then from Miami we moved up to Atlanta. Graduated high school. Atlanta was great, just wasn't a good fit for me. Yeah. So I moved down to Orlando for school, and
UCF guy?
No, MMI actually.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. And while I was going to school, I started bartending. I was a rope kid. I was the guy pulling the rope, in the VIPs at Antigua. Okay. Remember Antigua on Church Street? Yeah. And then started bar backing at Rock Room, moved up to bartending, and just kind of moved up the chains into management, and then into ownership. And here we are.
Dude, that's so cool.
Yeah.
What the different concepts, what's your thought process? Because obviously Papi's, it's very different than anything else you're doing, right? So talk to us a little bit about the different concepts. Yeah.
Papi's was Chris Hernandez, our partner and creator of the brand. When we acquired Basement and Attic, there was a Jimmy Hulu's in there, which was a good concept, just wasn't for us. Yeah. We felt like there was a need for good burgers downtown. After Beth's left, there was really no burger spot.
Sure, yeah.
I prefer smash burgers, so I was like, look, let's do a smash burger concept. I have a good friend of mine, an old friend of mine, Chris Hernandez, that he owned Papi's food truck, which was Cuban sandwiches, a Latin influenced food truck. So I brought him down here one day. I was like, hey man, I want to do a smash burger concept in Papi's. Or in the space that Jimmy Hula's was. Let's create something. Let's work together on something. So he put the Cuban Latin twist on a smash burger, and we together came up with Papi Smash.
It's super to own the bars around it, and then also hey, after you have a couple of drinks, maybe grab a smash burger is kind of perfect.
Attached to it is Basement, which is a staple for college kids. Basement and Attic, Basement Attic Treehouse actually. Sorry. Yeah. So it's been a staple downtown for the college scene. So that was kind of an easy purchase when it happened, when the space became available. Just a different concept in our portfolio, because Bullitt is, again, a staple of downtown, right? Very eclectic, a little bit of everything. We did everything from drummer versus DJ to hip hop to rock. Very eclectic venue, kind of a watering hole for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So no specific concept there, aside from the theme of Bullitt with the 1968 movie, Bullitt with Steve McQueen. And then McQueen's above it is lounge and more EDM, just a more elevated club atmosphere. So when college bars became available, it was like, oh, that's something different.
Different
and then
concept.
having the Smash Burger, Papi Smash'd Burger concept next to it was kind of a no-brainer. Moving on to Crow. Crow was a good bar. It had its lifespan, and eventually we just figured it needed a facelift, and the city was starting to move in a different direction in terms of demographic and what it was wanting the business owners and the nightclubs to be.
Yeah.
And we were very much in line with what the city was projecting for downtown. So we felt like we needed to kind of play ball in that sense and change Crow from what it was to now Sessions, which is elevated club, EDM, just a gorgeous venue. The space is great, huge windows, storefront. So that's kind of the layout of our venues.
Love it, man.
And Walter's Tavern obviously coming.
Yeah, exactly. So you got like a proper empire downtown, which is so cool, man.
We also have, not interrupt, we also have cast iron tattoo. I can't not give
Wait, you like tattoos?
I love tattoos.
Oh yeah, I would never know.
I've never tattooed. I've tattooed a couple friends just messing around,
Right, yeah.
but nothing professionally, obviously. Just a huge tattoo fanatic. Yeah. And Cast Iron is actually the oldest standing Orlando shop, going on 23 years, I believe, 23 or 24 years. It was opened by Danny Knight, and I would always pop in for like a year. I was determined to buying this shop, and I've known Danny for years, and I knew he was almost ready to retire. It's just more of the kids graduating kind of thing, and then once that happened, and his son Angelo was about to graduate, so I kept popping in, and finally he was like, "Look, man, make me an offer," and I did, and we shook hands, and I bought the shop.
This episode of the Orlando Real Podcast is brought to you by my real estate team, The Posit Group. Check us out over on Google. We've got over 1,700 five-star reviews. Whether you're looking to buy or sell a house anywhere in Central Florida, we want to be your real estate resource of choice. Make sure you reach out at theorlandoreal.com/real to get started. Needless to say, you're invested in downtown.
Yes.
And so it's
all my eggs.
So you and I were chatting originally because I think we saw One Up close, we saw High Tea close, and we were talking about sort of the overall landscape of downtown and how that's really changed a lot over the past year, but then it's been on this sort of like slow, maybe decline. I don't know how you would describe it, but like, what do you feel like the past year has been as a business owner downtown?
A challenge, to say the least. And it's painful, right? It's emotional to a certain extent, just because downtown has always been such a vibrant, amazing nightlife. As long as I've worked in it, and I've been in it since 2008. Yeah. So, almost 2 decades in the game when it comes to the nightlife here, and it's to see it from the highs that it was in, to the low that it is now it's heartbreaking, because again, we've not only do we own these venues, we own property here. We have personal guarantees on leases. As a business owner, I know you know what that means. Yeah. So it's been a challenge to stay committed. Putting up that fight to turn it around. To where it used to be.
What do you think that's attributed to the decline?
We never really bounced back after that horrible shooting that happened last Halloween, right? And every city USA has a gun issue, right? That has a violence issue, and just like any other city, bad things happen, and we had that bad thing happen, a terrible thing happen last Halloween, and unfortunately, the way the city announced it to the public made it seem that it was a nightclub issue by shutting down the venues at midnight. It was
every letter, every blog, every social media. It was, we've got a bar problem downtown. Let's change it.
Right.
And so when I walked in the front door, there's a little tag there. You want to explain what was it?
AMS permit. Yeah.
AMS. So after midnight.
Yep. So. After the shooting took place, and mind you, right, they said that it was a problem with the venues. Yep. But the person who shot those people was 17 years old. He couldn't even get into an 18 and up club. he was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, which, by the way, there is a youth protection ordinance out there that is not being enforced. So anyway,
so what is it supposed to be?
The youth protection ordinance keeps minors from coming downtown. I think it's after 10 o'clock.
How would they enforce that? Or should they?
Stop people that look like they're under 18, you know? Anybody that, I mean, you can tell, right? Like you come downtown, you see a lot of kids running around on scooters, walking the streets, not patronizing any of the venues, restaurants, any of the businesses. They're just hanging out in the street, you know? And that youth protection ordinance in the downtown entertainment area is supposed to, you know, obviously be enforced by OPD to get these kids out of downtown because they're up to no good, right? They're minors. They shouldn't be downtown anyway.
Sure.
So that's in place. We had the AMS put on us, which is, it's a permit, and AMS stands for after midnight sales. So any venue that wants to do business between 12 and 2 has to purchase this permit.
What's it cost?
The permit isn't expensive in its own. It's only about $250 to $500, I believe.
Yep.
What's expensive is the OPD fees associated with that permit that you have to pay in order to keep your permit current. And the fees are about $1,000 a week per venue.
A week?
A week per venue.
So $52,000 a year.
Per venue, and we have 5.
So $250,000 off your bottom line from last year, not including lowered sales because of all the news headlines were like, it's the bar's problem.
Correct. So you're still paying into these fees, and now if you walk around downtown, the chief has expressed how much it went from the downtown being blocked off completely to where you couldn't have vehicles driving through to now you can have cars driving through downtown, through the streets, right?
Is that good?
We prefer it. We prefer it because it promotes not having these street parties, right? It helps if there's traffic going down, you know, if there's cars driving down Orange Ave, Pine Central, whatever, then you don't have all these people hanging out in the roads, right?
Sure.
So
the chief, loitering doesn't happen, fights don't break out.
Correct.
That can be a whole other issue at 1 a.m.
Which we'll move on to the loitering issue after that because they're still finding a way to loiter even with the streets open. So the chief expressed how he didn't want the streets open. He didn't think it was safe. So what he did was he took the cops off the street and put them in the cars. And he said it's not safe for them, or for whatever reason, he wasn't happy with the streets being open and now the cars driving down the street. So he takes these officers that we're paying for and he puts them inside the car. So to begin with, we never had cops that were dedicated to our venues, right? They were just roaming just wherever they were stationed. Like we never were told, okay, let's say Pine Street, let's say McQueens, Bullitt, basement attic, you guys all pay X amount. Your police officers will be stationed here and here.
And you've asked for
that
this.
never happened.
You've asked and you said, hey.
Of course. Like where are the police? If something happens and we're paying into these police on top of our taxes, right?
Sure.
Because that's how we pay for police, is
right.
our taxes. We all pay.
Yeah.
Everybody in this room pays. On top of this insane amount, $1,000 a week, we can't even say, okay, we're giving the 3 officers on the corner of Pine and Orange or Central and Court. Like not even that little bit was given to us. So
you're like, I'm investing in this.
Right.
What am I getting in return?
So they opened the streets. They slashed the presence by a significant amount. I don't know the number, but a significant amount. Like you start seeing a lot less police presence. You don't even see them on Sundays now. There's no cops on Sundays, right? But we're still paying.
Yeah.
So he moves the police officers from the streets into the vehicles. So now you can't, and they're driving around. So now it's even less. They're even less accessible. At least before, you didn't know where they were stationed, but if you start walking around, you'll see one.
Yeah.
Now they're just moving around in their cars.
And how's that affected? Better, worse? I mean, you're here every night, so.
I don't think none of it is adequate, honestly, right? Before, there was this huge amount of police officers downtown that created this war zone atmosphere. And most of these officers, and look, I've been down here for a long time, and I've had great relationships with OPD because
I was gonna say, before we got on camera, like I want to make sure it's really, really clear. Like you guys love the police officers. I mean, like you're like, listen, we're here together, right?
I can go on my phone and I have multiple, officers' direct numbers, right? And they would come hang out, and we chat out front of the venues, and we had this great relationship, and that's the way it should be.
Well, I mean, I think so. All of this starts with safety. I feel like people, if they're going to come down, they need to feel safe. But then beyond that, they need to have places to go. You can't keep doors open if you can't make it work financially, right? And the fact that you've got 5 or 6 places, at least you've got a little bit of it's spread out a little bit, right? To where it's not all your eggs in one basket. But like, in order to thrive and be here for the next 10 years, you need patrons to come back down. And so, what do you feel like the first step in that is?
Clearing the streets, right? You have such a problem area over on Orange and Central where the Taco Bell is. Mm-hmm. I think the last year it's had over 200 calls from OPD, just that corner. Wow. And the streets are open, so you have cars driving on the street, but now you have all these people that would hang out on the streets being pushed onto the sidewalks, right? And there's the police will say you can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about the loitering because of the lawyers, and then
lawyers.
The lawyers, like, so you have OPD, and you have OPD lawyers, you have city, and you have city lawyers, and then you have us, the stakeholders in between, right? You got these 2 entities here, and then us in the middle saying, guys, what's going on? Like, who's OPD's telling us one thing, then city's saying that's not true. So there's a lot of this going on, right? And we're in the middle, like we're like the child, and mom and dad can't figure out, how to fix this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's interesting. Like, I think I'm a dad, right? And I've got to tell my kids to clean up their room. If they don't clean up their room, if I don't do anything and step in, they're never going to clean up their room, right? It's just going to continue to be what it is. And so they need to have, it sounds like, some reinforcement to the law. So we talked to a lot of people at the city, the GTO, like we've talked to a lot of really cool people on the podcast about the vision for downtown. And it's like, the vision's great, but the execution is what actually matters. And I think that part of it is creating that safe atmosphere for business owners alike. I mean, downtown's got a really cool opportunity, and I feel like if we don't have good cities start with good downtowns, and I feel like you look at, like, it kind of starts with that core, whether it's office, retail, people want to live here, work here, grab a drink, go home. And so part of that is having a really strong business community. And so the fact that you guys have been able to hang on is incredible. So, like, okay, so then next steps, like, what does that even look like? Is it getting everybody in the same room and saying, like, let's all get on the same page and get a vision forward?
And we've offered that. We said, you know what, we keep getting pulled in every different direction and told this, how do we get OPD and its lawyers, city and its lawyers, and the stakeholders all in one room, and let's figure it out. Yeah. Even though it's not our job as business owners to figure out the violence on the street issue.
But it's a betterment for everybody.
But as stakeholders and as people that we, almost 2 decades invested into downtown, we're there. We're always in the meetings. We're always reaching out. We meet with commissioners all the time. And that's another thing that's challenging, right? District 5 is the District 5 commissioner is responsible for the downtown entertainment area, and it's also responsible for the Paramore area. Mm-hmm. How do you have the bandwidth? Like, how does somebody that handles the Paramore area handles the downtown entertainment area? That almost seems like it needs a dedicated person that knows how to handle a nightlife area.
They're very different.
Right, very different. So that's another thing. That's another issue. That's a different conversation. But yeah, it look, at the end of the day, it is OPD's job. It's a hard job, right? It's a hard job, and I'm not here to bash OPD by any means. They have an extremely difficult job, but it is nonetheless their job to clean up these streets, just like it is Paramore or anywhere else. There's shootings over by Millennia, like anywhere, right? There's violence everywhere, and we have it down here. And we went from an amazing downtown area, entertainment area, to somewhere that nobody really wants to go anymore.
All right, so if nobody's been down here before, where are we?
So we're on Pine Street between Court and Orange.
Yep.
Or Magnolia and Orange. You don't want to count Court. You got McQueens, second floor venue, and Bullitt right here.
Yep.
Down here you've got Sessions, which that's our newest venue that we opened about a year ago. And then you have Basement, Treehouse, The Attic, and Papi Smash'd.
And so where are people loitering? We talked about that a lot. I mean, is it literally just filling right here, filling the streets?
So we don't see it too much or too bad on Pine, but it's really bad on Orange and Central. You have the pockets here, right? At the end where it used to be Shots, I forget what it's called now. Anyway, the corner of Pine and Magnolia, you see some of it. But like I said, not as much as it is over on Central and Orange.
Yeah. So you've got like Venture X. You have some new things down here, but how is this how has this even changed over the past 2 or 3 years? Not nightlife excluded. How has this changed in terms of like businesses and that stuff that you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, COVID obviously affected a lot because people started working from home,
Yep.
you know, so you definitely see the decline in foot traffic during the day just because people started working from home and
Yeah.
then, you know, that cost goes down. People don't have to, you know, business owners don't have to pay for office space. So you see some foot traffic decline. But, you know, downtown in its own needs help with some retail. You know, you had CVS open and then that shut down because of all the theft and, you know. I don't know how long the Taco Bell is going to last just because that's like the biggest issue. Like where that loitering and those fights happen is right there on that corner of Central and Orange.
The cantina made it worse.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. So we were all everybody's pumped about Taco Bell, right?
Yeah,
Who
of
doesn't like
course.
Taco Bell at 2 or 3 in the morning? But now it's like this hub for hangouts. And like I said, like I mentioned earlier when we talked, it was 200 OPD calls for that corner.
Jesus.
You know, so we're I know the guys that own launched that. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to try to talk to them about potentially maybe requiring Taco Bell to have their own security, you know, and just kind of push everybody off the sidewalk. I'm not going to take credit for that. That was my business partner, Scott. I know if I mentioned that, he's like, yeah, that was my idea.
Yeah.
But that was a great idea, right? Like require the One South, that building to have security at Taco Bell. And this is one of the creative suggestions that we got from I don't know if it was OPD or the city, but like, look, you guys can push people along in front of your businesses. That's all great and good, but we don't own 100% of the sidewalks, right? And, you know, Bullitt is, what, 30, not even 20, 30 feet wide, right? So, like, I'm a clear 20, 30 feet, you know, but then you have big buildings like Launch that they own that whole building. So that would be a big help, right? Clear that up. But that's not gonna solve the problem, right? Like, we can only do so much within our area. So just back to more of the same.
Yeah.
Some say that there's a bigger agenda to squeeze the venues out of downtown.
Well, okay, so that's exactly where I was going next. Is like it seems to be the blogs, and they blame the venues, and then they say, well, you know, it's the city saying this, but it's doing this, and like you're saying that there's actually these 4 entities. It's the city, their lawyers, the police, and their lawyers. So does it feel like they're trying to squeeze you out?
That's what it feels like, right? You've got what $1 billion build across over by the Amway, Westcourt, which we're looking at a spot there for Papi's, oddly enough. But you have this $1 billion development going on over there by the Amway, and it would seem as if they're trying to squeeze all this out and focus their attention over there.
And then you have empty streets and empty buildings, though.
Right. Yeah. And look, at the end of the day, anybody that's been in Orlando long enough knows that the lifeline and the heartbeat of downtown is the downtown entertainment, is the clubs, the bars, the restaurants that are right here in this downtown entertainment area. So to choke that lifeline and to choke that the only heartbeat that downtown has is mind blowing. Yeah. Is absolutely mind blowing.
So say somebody's listening from the city or OPD, and you could tell them one thing. What would you say then? It's
work with us to clean up the streets. You know, like we're not saying you guys figure it out.
Yeah.
Because we're constantly trying to meet and come up with solutions ourselves, even though it's not our jobs. But we're so invested and pot committed into our businesses and into the downtown and what it used to be and what we want it to be again.
And it's cool. I mean, I don't know how many visitors you get from like outside of Orlando, but I mean, Orlando wants its own identity. Like Mills is great because you can hang out there and live there. You're not hanging out on I-Drive and living on I-Drive, right? You have to drive in, drive out. And so if you want like a better sense of community, you want that place where you can live, work, play, all within one thing. I think that breeds way better for a future in Orlando that we can all be really proud of. So hopefully
we had that, right? We had that not too long ago.
And in the comment section on our stuff, anytime we talk about downtown, it was like Orlando's downtown was great. And then.
Yeah, it's so discouraging, and look, we're still here. We believe in downtown. If we didn't, we wouldn't have rebuilt a whole venue across the street.
Yeah, of course.
November of almost a year ago, right? And we believe in downtown. We think it needs to take action, right? Like our leaders, our police need to take action. Clean up the streets, bring it back to what it used to be. again, we've suggested the broken window theory, right? Which is cite and arrest, mostly cite, for everything. Jaywalking, open container, make it almost uncomfortable to like just be out, just hanging out.
To do the wrong thing.
You're right.
Yeah.
Like if a bunch of kids are in the mall hanging out, drinking on a bench, like just causing ruckus, security comes, you got to keep it moving. If they don't, they call police and they get out of there, right? Give you a scenario. If you take what's happening downtown, you move it to Park Ave, what happens?
It ain't happening on Park Ave.
It ain't happening on Park Ave.
Yeah.
Why is it happening here? Why is it okay for this to be happening downtown? It's not okay.
Yeah.
And they need to do something about it, right? So the broken window theory, it's like you're citing people for jaywalking, for open container, for everything every little thing, right?
Yeah.
And you make it uncomfortable. And then people are like, oh, I can't hang out here and just smoke and drink and cause problems and catcall. I can't do that. Then I'm not going to come downtown. I'll go somewhere else and do that.
Sure.
So that's one suggestion. It got shot down, but it's like, look, we're doing the more creative policing. We're the ones suggesting things you can do to change downtown, and it's not even our job. It's not. It's not our job. Our job is to provide entertainment for people that want to go out and have a good time. You know what I mean? So, creative policing is something that needs to happen. Creative government. You know what I mean? Like, clean up the streets, get it back to what it used to be, man. I had friends that own and manage venues in Miami, New York, and they come down here like, man, like downtown Orlando is so special. Mm-hmm. Even our Sundays, like nobody did Sunday Fun Day like we did Sunday Fun Day, and now that's gone. You come downtown on a Sunday, it breaks my heart, right? Because I spend a lot of time on working with other venues and other promoters, building, at least the Sundays we've had here in Bullitt, McQueens, and Basement and whatnot. And to see it from what it used to be to what it is now, just the tumbleweeds, blowing through the street, it's just like, it's heartbreaking, man. Yeah. And we had that special thing that other cities didn't have on Sundays, So, like, I don't only speak for myself or my group when I say we want downtown back to what it used to be. And I'm sure there's issues in every industry in every downtown, So I'm sure there's things that can improve. But can we bring it back and improve whatever the city wants to see improvement on, right? Yeah. But again, I'm not speaking just for myself when I say that. I'm sure I'm speaking for the patrons that used to visit these venues and my venues and other venues downtown. Like, I'm sure they want to come downtown to what downtown used to be, And nobody wants to do that anymore, with the way it is now.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears a little bit. So if you guys have been very successful in terms of your branding, your venues, building up something really special from the ground up. If you had to give some advice for other people that are hoping to maybe do something similar, whether it is a venue like yours or something different, what's some advice you give in terms of just building something like this?
Just believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Obviously, I kind of went against the grain,
Yeah.
just from a physical standpoint, I guess. But I always believed in interacting with people and engaging and making people smile and having fun. And, if you believe in your product and you're passionate about it, the rest will come. So, believe in whatever it is, food, entertainment, motorcycles, whatever, tattoo, anything that, that you're passionate about, believe in that piece. And I think the rest of the chips will fall, I think that's been the recipe for my success and our success is, just the passion and believing in what we can offer people and what we can provide from a nightlife entertainment standpoint. And, the rest kind of laid out the way it should have.
Okay. Well, dude, I'm hoping that a year, 2 years from now, we get to do another sit down and downtown is thriving and things are changing the way that they need to, man. But thanks for taking the time.
Absolutely. And I hope it's not 2 years from now. I hope it's sooner. Yeah.